Serious what is illegal, but most people don't even know it. One of my friends studied abroad in the UK from the US and didn't realize pepper spray is illegal there until a British student told her. Most female students at our university in the US carry it everywhere, so it didn't even occur to her it would be illegal. No clue how she got through the airport with it in the first place, but luckily she was able to dispose of it without getting in trouble. You can go to Lowe's and buy weed killer off the shelf and use it on your property. You can use it on your parents' property. If you use it on your neighbor's property and he gives you 20, that's a felony. Edit because the same smart ass replies keep coming up. Treating according to label instructions for friends and family without compensation does not qualify as a business activity most places. If you do this and receive compensation, then you're conducting business, and under the law you should have a commercial applicator's license. This is mostly an example of a badly written law that is too open-ended. I don't know anyone who has got in any real legal trouble over an unlicensed jug of Roundup, but they could.
Hey guys, much like you, I love reading people's stories on Ask Reddit. Unfortunately, there's a lot of weird middle school level, just thought experiment type hypotheticals like nice try Baskin Robbins. I don't find this compelling, so that's why I've made it my mission to trawl and crawl through Ask Reddit and find the very best content and put it in your ears. That's why I'm begging you, like and subscribe. If there's anything I can do to help you out, give you the kind of content that you crave to help you get through your workday, let me know in a comment. But please like and subscribe.
Copyright violation. In reality, this is an issue for anyone taking photographs of any piece of architecture, as the designer architect firm usually holds copyright to the design and its likeness. That said, such rights are often conferred to the building owner when a project is commissioned. Either way, if it's been designed by someone holds a copyright and is fully within their rights to request royalties for anyone photographing it using it for commercial purposes. In the US giving any federal employee, especially postal workers, any gift in an amount over 20 each and no greater than 50 in a year. I believe the government wanted to try to ban any gifts, but people were so attached to their postal workers and wanted to give them something, so they did relent with those strict guidelines above. Under October 2nd, 2024 anti-poaching law, not only is possessing or selling a bald eagle illegal, possessing any part of a bald eagle, including their feathers, is illegal. Find a bald eagle feather while hiking. Technically, picking that thing up and sticking it in your pocket means a $250,000 fine. As has been pointed out to me repeatedly, if you belong to a Native American tribe that is enrolled in a federal program that exempts you from the above, you are exempt from the above. As typically implemented, absolutely. As a uni project, I wrote a paper detailing the process to set up a legal lemonade stand in a specific jurisdiction. IIRC, you had to address health department requirements, get a business license, apply for a vendor permit, obtain insurance in the jurisdiction. This was a requirement for the vendor permit, and request zoning approval, which may or may not require a use variance. Yeah, in any art studio I worked in, we always had a special sink to rinse our brushes off in that went to a special line that wouldn't go back through the system just for this reason. Guys, I haven't made art in a long time. I wish I could give y'all advice on where to clean y'all's brushes, but I'd suggest either a bucket bowl in the tub or to search online for a proper and safe way to do it in an apartment. From note warm water and Dawn dish soap in a bucket for brushes with oil paint, and then dispose of the water in the grass. The earth will filter the oils and it won't run off into the water system. Just make sure it's not near any roads but in a widespread patch of grass and soil. That's what I always do. Edit. Hey guys, I know this is like super tangent, but I go to rehab tomorrow for a 30-day program. Wish me luck. The timing is funny, but yeah. Love you all. Final, I want to thank everybody who wished me luck and offered their thoughts to me. I'm currently about to step into an AA meeting in Austin and I'm nervous but excited. Rehab went well, and although that's not the end of my battle, it was a really good starting point. I thank you all for your support. In Texas, there is still a law on the books that it is a crime to carry bolt cutters around. It is a leftover from the days of cattle rustlers, when the bad guys would use bolt cutters to take down barbed wire fencing. Pretty sure it hasn't been prosecuted in 100 years. Paris takes their Eiffel Tower seriously. Any room with a window will be charged differently if the tower is in view. Even building permits must be taken with strict guidance to ensure no buildings can block said view from other existing establishment without prior consent. It was illegal some time ago when we went to Canada as well. My friend and I took a road trip from NC up and across the Canadian border, and they confiscated our pepper spray. Didn't get in any sort of trouble, but the guys at the border just explained that we can't have that over there.
Did you know that when you drink tea from a tea bag, especially a cheap tea bag, you are exposing yourself to microplastics greater in quantity than from any other source? Microplastics are the number one health risk of our generation, and they will have unknown consequences on future generations. So, if you value your health, destroy your tea bags. But that doesn't mean you can't enjoy great tea. I'm going to post affiliate links for my own homebrew loose leaf tea concoction that I drink every single day. It has no microplastics, and it honestly tastes better than tea from a tea bag ever did. So be sure to click the links below and get on the loose leaf tea train to avoid poisoning yourself and your children.
Let's take a look at the hilarious Texas Constitution, Article 1, Section 4, and I quote, Sec. 4. Religious tests. No religious test shall ever be required as a qualification to any office or public trust in this state, nor shall anyone be excluded from holding office on account of his religious sentiments, provided he acknowledge the existence of a supreme being. Emphasis mine. Oh my gosh, is this why we had a special sink in my high school art classroom for washing paint? I remember a kid getting yelled at for trying to wash brushes at a hand-washing sink, but I thought it was because they just didn't want to ruin the sink when we had this large, already ruined sink to use. Fun fact, I was chewed out by a neighborhood Karen one afternoon because she misunderstood this law. I was outside, using weed killer on between the joints in the concrete on my driveway. Dollar weed is pretty aggressive here, and I haven't had the time to get around to resealing the joints, so this is a stopgap measure. This lady comes jogging by with her kid in one of those 3-wheeled jogger strollers, and when she sees me, she immediately stops and brays, excuse me, sir. Hello. Do you have an applicator's license and the appropriate insurance to spray hazardous chemicals? Also, by law, you have to let everyone on your block know you'll be exposing them to hazardous chemicals. That's not true, ma'am. I'm sorry. My brother owns a lawn service company. It is true. I would know. No, ma'am. I'm sorry, but you're mistaken. That regulation is for commercial use. I'm not a gardener, this is my home. No. Again, I'm sure I can call him right now. Is that what you want? No. I don't want you to call anyone. Is this funny to you? Are you enjoying this? No, I wouldn't say I'm enjoying this. Then why are you smiling? A weird lady is shouting at me in my front lawn because she misunderstood a regulation, and that's uncomfortable and a little humorous. Oh, weird. I'm okay. All right. Hang on. And then she takes out her phone and proceeds to quietly fuck with it for a couple seconds while I finish spraying the weed killer in the joints of my driveway. When I'm done, I wordlessly take the weed killer back into my garage, close the door, and go back inside. I expected her to come ring the doorbell at any moment, but it never happened. I've seen her a couple times since then, and she hasn't returned my waves. Also illegal in Alaska, Indiana, North Carolina, Oklahoma, Rhode Island, Utah, and Vermont. Typically they outlaw time-based promotions for alcohol. I found an article from the NYT in 1984 when Mob passed this first in the nation ban. Oklahoma got happy and removed this restriction in battery, actually, in many places. The difference being battery is physical, while assault doesn't have to be, can be verbal or intimidation. Would suck to be that guy in prison. What are you in for? Battery. Did you at least teach them a lesson? I'm sure Effie peed their pants, I guess. So you're saying you can't be paid to dispense weed killer? Are you supposed to have a license if you do it for money? By the same token, if you have a drone and someone pays you to photograph something with it, you're supposed to have a specific type of FAA license that essentially amounts to a pilot's license. See, in Arizona I had to sign a piece of paper when I rented my first apartment stating there was a limit of how many women could live on the premises. This is to prevent brothels. The law, so yes, the link shows it's not really a law but more of an urban legend. However, I did have to sign a document about it from my apartment complex when I moved in. Obviously they were under the impression it was a real law. I went to the United Arab Emirates where my prescription migraine medicine carries a severe penalty for possession. Ended up getting a signed and notarized letter from the United States Secretary of State John Kerry that allowed me to carry it in the UAE. They never checked, great trip, but when I went to leave my shoes were swabbed at the Abu Dhabi airport and they tested positive for bomb precursor material. They asked me if I had been cutting open car batteries and the biggest mofo I've ever seen came out from the security office. That was a fun one to explain. I work with robotics and was in a manufacturing environment prior to arriving at the airport. No telling what I stepped in that set off the machine, but it certainly scared the shit out of me. They thoroughly inspected my shoes, X-ray, more swabs that triggered a red screen on the computer with a message in Arabic and then let me go. Many are questioning the paperwork. Here's the Dubai MOH document outlining what's needed. I read this and was still uncertain, so I called their embassy and they helped me out. Correct. Although sometimes it's okay to accept, but not to keep. For those who are curious, these rules apply to all federal government workers and there are times where it would be problematic not to accept in the situation diplomacy mostly. In those cases employees may accept the gift but must turn in over to the department they work for. Yes, pepper spray is illegal to carry or use on people here unless you are law enforcement. Conversely, bear mace is legal to own, but if you're caught carrying it on your person in the middle of a large city, the cops will confiscate it and may fine you unless you have a good reason.
I turned 36 this year and I decided to focus on my physical fitness, so I bought a swim club membership. The only problem was, most of the time when I go swimming, I wind up getting an ear infection. So it turns out that normal earplugs, they kind of irritate your ear canal, they don't really work, they don't keep the water out, but there is an amazing kind of earplug called Mack's Pillow Soft Silicone earplugs that, they feel great, they keep the water out 100%, they're reusable, and they don't irritate your ear canal at all, no issues. If you've ever had a severe ear infection, you don't want to experience that again. It can permanently damage your hearing if you're unlucky. So investing in these earplugs is definitely a good idea. Also, when my baby was crying later this year and I could not get to sleep, I used the same earplugs and they worked great. I was able to sleep right next to a crying baby. So be sure to click my affiliate link and purchase some of these Mack's earplugs today.
Walking down the street with an ice cream cone in your back pocket in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Apparently, there was a law that if a horse was on your property, you could claim it as your own. In comes the ice cream cone as a law for the horse as you lead them to your property. California law stating that it is illegal to wash your neighbor's car without their permission. Also, in San Francisco and Long Beach here you cannot store anything other than an automobile in your garage. This is no longer allowed in Long Beach anymore. The SF1 is for commercial structures only, but at one point it definitely was illegal to use your garage as anything other than a parking spot for your car. People could do stuff like rent out their garage, tax-free. A lot of locales have a similar law. The justification goes much farther than what you expressed, as someone who has successfully committed suicide can be charged in post. This would allow the state or governing body to make a claim on the house and other property, should no relative or next of kin be able to do so. In many states, us having sex in any position but missionary is illegal. Yes. Many sex laws were deemed unconstitutional back in 2005. However, many states' legislatures don't remove them from the books. So there's still statutes in the codes. Hell, here in Virginia, unmarried sex is still technically illegal. 250 fine. Not enforced, still illegal, technically. Also in Virginia, taxi drivers are not allowed to knowingly take you to a location to have premarital sex. In NC is missionary only and your shades must be drawn. In Minnesota, a man can't fuck a live fish. Not sure if he can fuck a dead one, or if a woman is allowed to fuck a live fish. Germany's laws are also kinda weird. There are many self-defense weapons that you are allowed to buy: pepper spray, telescope batons, tasers, but not allowed to carry or use in self-defense. You're only allowed to use them in training exercises. While there are ones you're allowed to use: scars, normal batons, tactical flashlights. The fact that you're able to buy weapons that are illegal to use is very confusing. Small side fact: pepper spray is allowed for use to defend yourself from animal attacks.
I turned 36 this year, and I decided to focus on my physical fitness, so I bought a swim club membership. The only problem was, most of the time when I go swimming, I wind up getting an ear infection. So it turns out that normal earplugs, they kind of irritate your ear canal, they don't really work, they don't keep the water out, but there is an amazing kind of earplug. It's called Mack's Pillow Soft Silicone earplugs that, they feel great, they keep the water out 100%, they're reusable, and they don't irritate your ear canal at all, no issues. If you've ever had a severe ear infection, you don't want to experience that again. It can permanently damage your hearing if you're unlucky. So investing in these earplugs is definitely a good idea. Also, when my baby was crying later this year and I could not get to sleep, I used the same earplugs and they worked great. I was able to sleep right next to a crying baby. So be sure to click my affiliate link and purchase some of these Mack's earplugs today.